So, in the wake of all the recent news that is not so new and very Fox and fake and false, here comes Charlie Hebdo. And I think the difficulty, there's traffic outside. I sit by the window and there is a steady stream of traffic, so there's um, a constant stream of people. And it can be distracting. I think it's just become part of something that I kind of look at on a daily basis. It's almost kind of melodic in a way and irritating. But that's what it is. And it's very similar to what the news is. It's very steady, sometimes very sparse, and can be very irritating. And so is Charlie Hebdo. So this is a magazine that was about to go out of commission. Its readership was so low that it was about to lose its franchise and go out of commission. And here it comes up with this great plan. Why don't we create an attack? The very people that we single out in terms of our enemies, because they're no longer fighting back and have no interest in us, and therefore we're not able to really make any degree of money or monetary gain from them. Let's just create this attack of which they kill our one of our best journalists slash cartoonists. And then our readership will go from some thousands into some millions. And 3 seems to be a good number, 3 million, let's say. And then we can bring this magazine back to life. It's like Egypt, isn't it? You die and then you're reborn. They seem to base everything around Egypt. It's like the first time they went into Africa, the first thing they did was intermingle with all the ancient people, with all the indigenous people, create all these mixed race, these sort of hybrid people, mixed with their DNA and our DNA, and then go about trying to create all these sort of Karma Sutra positions on the walls. It's very strange the way these people think, these Europeans think. So this is the way we're going to get readership, and is to create this false flag, this Fox situation, and then our readership will go up. And actually, it's in Britain. There was a station called LBC, and they came up with a very similar plan. After realizing that their viewership had gone so low that they were about to lose their station in life, jobs and careers, they also came up with a plan, and they started to feed into this sort of hysterical story that's going around the world right now. And this story that is fed largely by, children and mentally ill in this country, used primarily by people that are desperately in need of something to talk about, of interest, to create fury, to create excitement. And they are sort of feeding into this whole story of, some women, and I believe they were on the attack, and then there were these enemies, and then there were these friends, and there were all these different parts of this story, and then it turns out to be a racial thing, and it's a racist attack against black people. And here we go again. It turns out to be this racist attack on black people, where this black person was about to be falsely imprisoned on something they had trumped up, on charges they had trumped up, and everybody was talking about it. It was hysterical. It was hysterical, literally hysterical in every way, for some time. But they managed to come back from essentially the grave, essentially from obscurity, and now they are, I believe it's DAB, their #1 station on the radio. That's quite shocking, isn't it? The way they use information and twist and turn it for their advantage. And the only people that seem to lose out are black people. Again, we just seem to be always in the front. It's almost as if their end game is always us, to end us. And so whatever happens, you know, well, we need to build a radio station, and we need to kill black people. We need to build up our magazine readership, and we need to kill black people. We need to change the laws, and we need to kill black people. You know, whatever seems to happen, that just seems to be the end game. And that's really where I come in, because it's very difficult, I think, as a black person to see what's happening and not take an interest. Because they say you are your own God and your own Jesus. And if you really believe in this biblical person that's coming to save you, you better believe in yourself and what you're able to do and capable of doing, because there really is nobody. He's certainly not coming from the sky, and I can't see by the traffic there's anybody there. And you know, really, there's just you. When you look in the mirror for that person to save you, when you're looking at yourself and you're saying, tell me who's going to save me, that person is really looking right back at you. And if you're not comfortable with that person, and in every way love and adore that person, and look up to that person, and you know, admire that person, and fill that person with all the sort of magical whims of fancy or whatever, you know, if you're not able to look at that person and empower that person enough, there really is nobody on this planet that's going to be able to save you. And so it's very strange that we're continually having to come up with these sort of new plans to get these people off our back, when they're continually making up these stories that don't exist, because it's hard to fight false, fake, Faux. It's very hard to fight something that does not exist. It's almost like a magical power. You almost have to create another realm where there you have some sort of magical power that fights off and fends off essentially things that are coming from the air that you can either see, smell, taste, or really hear. And that's quite difficult in that you have to make yourself much bigger and much stronger and much more resilient than you could ever have been under any other circumstances. I mean, we've been doing it for hundreds of thousands of millions of years, but the idea that, you know, just because you lose readership, you create a situation where you tell people that you're, you know, these Muslim black men and women who wasn't even in the country. And I believe one of the men that actually turned himself in was in class, and his classmate said, well, we saw you were definitely there, went and killed these white people in their offices of a magazine that really was about to lose its publishing rights or whatever. It was about to just lose its right to exist. Essentially, they went and lost the plot and then created a new plot that did not exist. And I believe the only person that died was a police commissioner, because he was duped, essentially. He was conned into believing this was all really overreacted. I believe it was 3,600 police officers and enforcement officers that are actually on the street. That's quite a large population that's quite a large overreaction. I mean, that's bordering on hysteria. And the way they were able to pull this off globally and then go out and march, which was, I believe the number they wanted us to believe was 1.5 million. So that's 500,000 more than the black people, you know, they marched for their right to make up stories and have people believe it. So that makes them better than us, and kill black people.